Hi, I'm Cameron, and I don't just read comics, sometimes I watch them. Today on Cameron Reads Comics, we have a super special bonus annual episode in which we are talking about the first half of the Marvel Studios television show, WandaVision. We're only going to be going over the first 5 episodes of the MCU show because at the time of this recording, that's all that's been released. Just a warning, we are going into full and complete spoilers for the first 5 episodes of WandaVision. Also, there was some construction going on at the time of this recording, so you're going to hear that going on in the background. Remember to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Cameron Reads Comics, and make sure to clobber the like and subscribe buttons, as well as leave me a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Now, here is your mid-season review on WandaVision. Okay, Jesse, welcome back to a really special episode. Actually, this is Cameron Reads Comics annual number 2.
And it's with me again, baby.
It's with you. That's pretty much going to be the format of those. Okay, well, let's just get into it.
We had to do this, guys.
We had to.
We had to. I called Cameron and I was like, we have to do like a quick splash episode because this is what we've been talking about on all of our other ones, and it's happening.
Yeah, and we were literally like, we just said it. What are we were just like, hey, yeah, no, this needs to happen. I think I told you, I was like, we could have done one on Friday, I think. Is that what I said? I worked with you the other day, and I was like, oh, we could have done an episode on this. And then you're like, what? And then I was like, oh, no. Then we watched it through, and we were like...
Before I watch it, what we're talking about, by the way, hold on, stop. It's WandaVision. Yeah. And if anybody hasn't watched WandaVision yet, go watch it. If you don't have Disney Plus, I was just telling Cameron, if you do not have Disney Plus, go get Disney Plus because The Mandalorian's on there, first of all, and it's absolutely fantastic. And WandaVision, if you watch any of the MCU stuff, oh my gosh,
it's so good. And like, obviously, I don't know, like, I feel like for the most part, my listeners will have had Disney Plus, but obviously, if you needed a warning, or like you needed a plug, here's your plug. Go get it. Oh, and then also for this episode, if you kind of really want to understand WandaVision better, go check out the Cameron Reads Comics episodes 10, 12, and 26. That is Avengers Disassembled, House of M, and The Vision.
We have been talking about this for 3 episodes. And I know that we're going to do a WandaVision review, but we had to do this one because episode 5, it was 5, correct?
Yes.
Episode 5 just dropped the bomb.
And we literally, oh my gosh. I think also you and I talk about our entire podcast episodes have been building to this. This entire series has been building to this episode. I think this one has finally conveyed to us the capacity that this show had within it.
Yeah. And I don't want to. I paused there for so long because I don't want to. If we're going to do a review, I don't want to go through the whole series. I just want to talk about this episode.
Well, okay.
But you are correct.
Well, let's start about our initial thoughts because it is a series review, and we still do have time. But the first and foremost, what were your initial thoughts on the series?
You know what, man? Like the way that it's done as a sitcom, the first 2 episodes. Man, like I told you, it was so hard for me to watch. It was so cringy. It was like I was embarrassed watching it. I was like, this, for me, the stuff I like, I was just like, I am not into this format, man. It is cool. I get the idea, but I was not into it until episode 3. Was it 3 that they backed out?
No, it was 4.
It was 4 until episode 4 when they actually backed out of Wanda's version of Westview.
Yeah.
It was tough at the beginning.
It was, and like, I think that's my stance too. Within, if you guys are trying to decide whether or not you want to watch this show, don't look at it. We are not spoiled because we are watching it weekly. So it's like, we're not getting the entire picture. This series is intended to be looked at as that, which is a series, not episodically. Look at it as the entire story it's telling. And episode 5 has now reached the capacity that we were all hoping for.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because what it is exactly what we've been theorizing about. Is that the correct word?
Yeah.
We've been theorizing and throwing around all these wacky ideas. And I don't even know what I don't even like.
Okay, well, let's just
so much.
We're gonna.
What are they gonna do, man?
You guys don't have to worry about if we're gonna nail all of the points we're gonna hit within this 20-30 minute episode. We have time, and we are going to do a full series review anyways. But we just after everything that's happened, we needed to check in. So let's just start first. How do we feel about Sword, the organization?
How do you feel about Sword?
I'm glad we have another kind of entity that's a governing body. I actually really, really, really love that it was started by Maria Rambeau.
Right.
Captain America. You saw what Captain Marvel's BFF was up to. I like that her nickname was Photon, and now we pick up the pieces where Monica has picked up. And the dude that's running it sucks. I like that too.
Yeah, he does suck. He's a dick.
I think he's going to be one of the villains.
He's got to be. I don't know how. I mean, he's already trending that way. You know what I mean? And he's a dick.
Yeah, that guy sucks. And so, I'm glad to see that though. And I know that they're starting with something like that.
Monica also paused when Darcy mentioned Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
it was like a weird pause, Captain Marvel, and then she kind of moved on past it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was something that caught my attention.
I think we are going to be due. Or everyone, at least, for a Captain Marvel rewatch or something, to kind of see what's going on over there with Captain Marvel. Because now that we have, we kind of know, we saw where she started. Now we're seeing where she ended up with Monica. I'm like, if you guys want to know, I'd highly recommend rewatching. Because my girlfriend and I are doing an MCU rewatch right now, and I'm like, ooh, but we're also watching WandaVision as it's coming out.
Sure.
So out of context, she's like, who is this person? And I'm like, I will show you. But I think,
oh shit, sorry.
It's all right. Everyone's allowed to hit their mic. I think one of the bigger things with Monica is that Captain Marvel was gone for a long time. You know what I mean? I think she was off Earth, and I think
yeah, that's what I thought first too. Captain Marvel was gone, and then when Monica comes back from the snap, her mom's no longer alive, and I'm wondering if there's a resentment there.
I think so.
That she couldn't help her or something. I don't know. I think that's what it was. But yeah, I mean, I agree. The Sword thing is cool. That there's not a shield anymore, and there's a different governing body that can come in and kind of try to figure out what's going on with this whole Westview thing and Wanda in particular.
Yeah, and I think that's also where we're gonna find out. I don't know. I think that there's going to be stuff within the Sword. I think Sword's going to stay around as a governing body because I don't know. I don't think Shield's going to come back. Well, I want Shield personally. I prefer Shield, but it's this also isn't the first time we've seen Sword, and that's what I keep reminding people. Nick Fury was posted up at Sword at the very end of Spider-Man: Far From Home.
What?
The post-credit scene of Spider-Man's Far From Home is when you find out that Ben Mendelsohn was Skrull Nick Fury the entire time. Oh yeah, but that
doesn't. I don't think that was the same thing. I think that's different.
No, it is.
I know what you're saying. Yes. Okay. I don't know. I think it's different.
Oh, I think it is confirmed that was Sword.
It did. They did.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I think that's what that. I don't know. I can't argue with you because
I'm if it's extraterrestrial, the other thing too.
Yeah, but they changed the acronym for Sword. What did I tell you? It was sentient weapons observation recon data or whatever. Where it used to be secret world observation, so they changed what Swords stands for. Meaning, they think that Wanda's a weapon, and it's no longer. They took that universal, space cop thing away from it.
Yeah, but I think on top of that too, though, it's Monica fundamentally in the show is an astronaut. That was kind of her thing.
Oh shit, you're right. See,
And then,
right. Yeah, you're fucking right.
yeah, so anyways, but I'm not gonna say I told you so. But.
So then, you can tell me that? Does that mean that Sam Jackson's Nick Fury is the head of S.W.O.R.D., or he's a part of it? Right?
I think he's one of the
director,
figureheads.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's the director. Okay, well, honestly, I think
Honestly,
we've danced around it for a while.
We have danced around it, dude.
What is up with Wanda?
What's up with Wanda?
Okay, so far in the first few episodes, we're not going to spoil the episodes. We're just going to talk about the big themes.
We're going to spoil the episode.
Oh yeah, no, we are.
Yes,
but I just mean like we're not going to go into deep cuts of like the episode itself, like frame by frame. It's
absolutely not. We're not.
You need to be number one, paying attention to the commercials of these episodes.
I had to look up the
newest
paper towel,
one,
but damn.
Now, the newest one was whoa.
That was super whoa. It cleans up your messes? Like, what the fuck, bro?
They're so deep, too. And, like, with the Hydra Soak one, it's Hydra Soap because I found out from Coy Jandro, previous guest on the podcast, that is alluding to the fact that she was brainwashed by Hydra.
Yeah.
I'm like... And all of the names and stuff, like, yes, we had to look up what Lagos was and, like, what that meant in the MCU. But it's like, oh, my goodness, it is so good.
It's when she screwed up and blew up the thing. And that's what I was talking about in one of our, in the Disassemble. I mentioned that whole thing about her, them doing that to tone her down, her powers down, right? And they brought it up. What the hell?
Yeah, no, and it's good. It was very wise how they brought it up. Like, I think
I feel so smart.
Those commercials are so good. And I remember after watching the first one, that I forget what was the first one.
It was the toaster.
It was the toaster, and then for our Vision fans of Tom King, she calls Vision a toaster, and it's a major story arc. And maybe it's obviously an Easter egg to that, but like that's all of them are that smart, and all of them are alluding that much.
There's a ton of Easter eggs to the Vision book. It's literally every episode, and they're not even Easter eggs. Sparky is not. That's just the dog is Sparky from the book. It's just there. It is. It's right out in front of you.
Yes. Okay. So, I guess core questions. Do we think that Wanda, like, this is happening to her, or she is making this happen?
I think it's happening to her. And
how so?
They kind of want you to believe that she's, it's the one manipulating everything, and she comes out and says it when she walks out, like, I've created my, my world, just leave me alone. And, Jimmy's asking her who's doing it, but I think obviously there's things that she's not controlling, and I think that she's not fully in control.
Yeah.
Whether it's her of her own doing or not, who knows, man.
Yeah, same. I think that she is definitely someone like she's. I don't think it's all her. I'll say that because I don't think they want to paint an Avenger as the complete villain for this.
Right.
And I think that's been the problem within the Wanda stories previously too. Is they just kind of pin it all on her. But it's like I like that they're leaning into the fact that she cannot control her powers, and they are emphasizing that greatly. And they address.
I think it's going to get more like apparent as the series goes on too.
Absolutely, and I think that they also leaned into something we talked about, whether or not she is one of the most powerful Avengers. And they were like,
they straight up said it.
Yeah, they said they're like, oh, if he didn't blitz her,
like she would have killed Thanos. And I love it. I love that they said that because we've been talking about it.
Yeah, and I even in the context of the MCU, what I tell people is like, you realize that when even the first time in Infinity War when she was fighting him, she was destroying an Infinity Stone with one hand and holding him off with the other. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, don't act like they're equal. If it was just her and him, she'd smoke him. Easy. So,
toast.
Like, I think that I really like that.
The saws.
There's some construction.
There's some construction going on. It's okay, dude. We had to record, guys.
We are rebuilding the reality of the roof right now.
We aren't, but somebody is. Bless them.
So with okay, that's what we have for Wanda. Okay, then I guess not.
I mean, I love how too. Where like 1 minute you're like really like on her side, and the next minute she kind of flips, and she's like, they're showing her come unraveled, and I think that they're doing a great job to slowly having her unravel, not having it all happen at one time, really.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and okay, wait, with all the people that are partaking in her reality in the Westview, we have a weird thing where now we have half of them who are like, I feel like not we have half them who are like not aware that it's happening to them, and then the other half where it's like, because I think it's more than we think, are aware that they are participating in her reality, and then we have a half that is not aware at all. Like Vision's coworker, not aware. Like when he kind of reactivated him,
Norm,
using the Mind Stone too. Also, I really love that we are experiencing in the series the ramifications of powers powered by Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's why he's able to do that, because he had the Mind Stone. So the residual power within him is able to actually, like clear people's minds.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. You're right.
And then and that's why Wanda's stuff is red, is because it was the Reality Stone.
Yeah.
I mean, that just makes sense, and I'm like, I like that. And then with Captain Marvel, she had, oh my gosh,
somebody's getting it done up there with that saw. Get it, boys. It's gonna go on, dude.
Yeah, it is. So so I just think that recognizing those being the most powerful people in the universe is like, I'm a fan. And so I guess my next question would be, well, wait, ramifications of Quicksilver.
That's what we haven't even talked about that. The whole reason that we're even wanting to do this quick snapshot pod real quick that can be tacked onto the end of another one or released on its own. It's an annual too, whatever.
Coming out
was
Thursday.
Because the doorbell rings. Her and Vision are literally about to fight each other because Vision figures out that he's not in his own reality. He doesn't know who he is. He's like, "What's going on, Wanda?" The doorbell rings, and she said, "I didn't do that."
Yeah.
She answers the door, and it's fucking Quicksilver. It's not Pietro that you know from the MCU. It's the one from the X-Men universe, guys.
It is literally Evan Peters from the X-Men, like Days of Future Past, Apocalypse.
The good one. The good Quicksilver. Even though his name is Peter in that movie, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Pietro.
You're probably right. Oh, it's
Pietro.
Oh my gosh, like I love it so much. And like obviously this has opened the door now, like in simple terms, we have a multiverse.
We have a multiverse. And not only does it open the door for the multiverse, but it actually, what I was surprised by was they're using an actor who I thought they were going to wipe. I thought they were going to wipe the slate clean. Like the X-Men universe, like Hugh Jackman and those guys and Fassbender and Evan Peters, right? Like, they're gone. We're going to use somebody else. Well, no, that's not exactly true.
Not at all now.
Because he was at the door, and he's like, "What's up, Wanda? It's your long-lost brother." He says your long-lost brother, which is kind of like, well, you died, didn't you die? And then he's like, "Who's the popsicle?" So he doesn't know who Vision is. Who's the popsicle?
Yeah, he doesn't know who that is. Like, them... Oh my gosh. And
it's huge.
And they're alluding to, and you and I talked about this because I'd heard somewhere else that it was seen that Evan Peters was on the WandaVision set. Like,
sure.
That was a rumor that was going around.
Right.
And so we had talked about that and we're like, oh, and Jesse very smartly said and very accurately said, oh, it'd have to be the 80s episode because that is kind of his character in the X-Men movies. And he's obviously completely correct. And it was the 80s episode.
It was the 80s episode.
Where we got the long lost brother. And it's very important to say too, he's not looking like, just the Aaron Taylor Johnson Quicksilver. No, he's in a leather jacket. He has the same hairstyle. He is his Quicksilver.
Yeah, it wasn't like they recast Quicksilver as the other guy who had already played Quicksilver. They made him the Quicksilver that he was playing in the X-Men movies. He is the Quicksilver from the X-Men movies.
Yeah, and so it's like, what does this mean for continuity and canon now, and what more doors are going to be open? Because I'm like, we kind of knew that a multiverse was coming with the title of Doctor Strange, but now it's like, I just don't know how they can outdo themselves moving forward.
I didn't expect it in the WandaVision series. I figured this Vision series is going to be leading into that Doctor Strange multiverse.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, related, but, like some of the other properties that the MCU's done with their television shows, you don't really need to watch it. And that's a big knock I think that a lot of people have with the MCU is, there's no really good standalone movie that you don't have to be paying attention to anything else, right?
Yeah.
That's why people love, like, the Christopher Nolan Batmans or, like, the Spider-Mans especially, because you don't have to be privy to the other stuff that's going on. Personally, I love that I'm invested in all this shit. And, you're either along for the ride or you really don't have any clue what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's great, man.
And it was something, because I think originally their plan was with Disney owning was like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They were going to try and keep their TV and their movies separate. They can't do that anymore.
No, they definitely cannot.
And I'm like, I'm so glad we have a platform like Disney Plus where we can have like, the budget and the potential to build our universe this way. Which actually brings me to a point I wanted to make, what you were just saying. Everyone, and this is, I think, for me, probably the biggest deal of all of it. One of the biggest critiques I get from my non-superhero friends is them saying, "Oh,
You have superhero friends?"
My non-superhero friends.
Yeah, but do you have superhero friends?
I mean, like,
They got powers and shit?
I call my dog Waffles the super dog.
Am I one of your superhero friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Jesse. And that's it. That's what I meant to say.
Sorry, I totally derailed you there.
No, you're
so
good. You're good.
Superhero. You're
My
non-superhero
non-comic
friends.
oriented friends
There
are
you
like,
go.
"Oh, I'll never get into the MCU because it's all the same thing. It's all the same formula of every movie." And I'm like, look at WandaVision and tell me it's the same formula.
It is not the same formula, and honestly, that's okay. Let's be honest. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at first because it wasn't the same formula, and the sitcom thing just did not hit with me. Now at episode 5, it makes total fucking sense why they're doing it that way. Darcy's just like, yo, she recast Pietro. Like, it's genius, and I am stupid, and I didn't see it at first. I was just like, this is weird. It's super cringy, but dude, it's genius. What have you done?
It is genius, and it's like so special. Like, oh, I just freaking love this series, and I feel like we can't even talk fast enough about all of it because it's so good. I just think the ramifications that we're going to have with all of this is now it's all canon.
Yeah, okay, so just let me ask you, there's 4 more episodes in this series. Do you think this is going to be is this new version of Quicksilver going to be the only one that we see, or are we going to see somebody else?
I don't think we're going to see Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think really,
I don't mean are we going to see another version of Quicksilver as well? I mean, are we going to see another mutant? He's a mutant, dude. That version of him is a mutant. Are we going to see more mutants?
I think this is literally in the House of M style. Like, House of M ends, she says no more mutants.
She's going to reverse that.
I think literally this is. I thought it'd be too on the nose at first, but with the Fox introduction, or like trying to combine those universes, whatever just happened, because we still don't, at this point in the podcast, we still don't know what happened with Evan Peters. We don't know why he's there.
We don't. But I can't wait for Friday.
It's such a big deal. And like,
I was literally, Avery and I were yelling at the TV. We were so excited.
Oh my gosh. And Jesse, of all episodes, you were like, "Oh, I gotta wait till Saturday."
I know, man, because she wasn't home and I have to watch it with her. She's my Marvel buddy. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to happen.
You're a better man than I. I guess the last point that I wanted to make about it is that, like, I think now we have opened the door to mutants, and I think it's going to end this series. The potential I believe it's going to have now is it's going to end, and she is going to introduce mutants into the universe, like by speaking that word, because that is a word in MCU continuity that has never been spoken.
Yeah, and the version of Quicksilver that showed up on the doorstep, he didn't get his powers from the Mind Stone, like her and her other brother did. He is a mutant. It means so much. My mind is just like, dude, is Magneto gonna walk through and like, is she gonna lose her shit and end up say Vision like zaps her because he's had enough of her shit and he realizes that she's using him possibly as a weapon, and then he what if Vision ends up hurting her or damaging her in some way, and then like the Disassemble book, Magneto has to come take her. That's too far-fetched, but
it's not.
One can hope.
I don't, because this is the thing too with
and what if it's Michael Fassbender?
Yeah.
But like would he have to look like an older version of Magneto? Like he would have to, because oh my god, I just can't. It's too much for me, dude.
And even like, because people are like, oh, in the comics, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't. The way I understand it too is that Magneto is not her like direct father. Like, it's not. He's not the man that raised her. Magneto is the actual father. He's the baby daddy of Pietro and Wanda. But in the comics and in the canon, they have different last names than him.
Right.
He is Eric Lenscher, and they are Wanda and Pietro Maximoff.
Right.
So
he was a sperm donor.
He was an absent father, whatever, like also leading the mutants, just doing his thing. There's still room for him to be their father in the MCU, and that is a very important detail. It's like, yes, they potentially got their powers from the stones,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? But whether or not that's the original source of all of her powers in the first place is totally different anyways.
What if they show a different version of Wanda? Whoa!
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Like, right? Like,
what the heck?
what the heck?
Oh my gosh. It is just like the doors have been opened. You know what I mean?
Hey, it's one of the Olsen twins. Right?
They go in the 90s episode, it's full house. And like,
Totally, right? Could you imagine? What if they do that? They're going to do that.
also, the ramifications of Wanda being, or like, I just mean Elizabeth Olsen acting in a sitcom styled the way both of her sisters grew up doing. I'm just like, that's so meta. And Disney knows, and they're like leaning into that.
Yeah, a lot of people I saw, they were like, "Oh, this is great. They're doing the Full House episode." That was Family Ties.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry, I'm old. I knew it was Family Ties. That's what that episode was supposed to be. The intro with them like painted. That's what it was.
Oh, I just thought the soundtrack was very cheesy, and I'm like, that's pretty much all those.
Yeah, that show was lame, but that's what it was.
But it's meta, and it's good, and like I am just such a fan of everything that this show is doing. So excited. Okay, what's your big fan theory?
We've talked about him so many times. You know what I mean? We've gone through this so many times, and now it's completely blown up because having Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. Yeah. Honestly, I thought like that won't happen. They're going to recast Wolverine. It doesn't. He can be back for 1 or 2 movies as Wolverine, and then they can open up another part of a universe, and it could be someone else. We all know that. We don't all know, but we can all assume now that in the new Spider-Man movie, you're going to see all 3 Spider-Men.
Yeah, like that. Marvel has now opened the door for all of their properties to be canon.
And we already should have known that because at the end of Far From Home, Jameson is the same. It's
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, dude. We should have, they're putting it in front of our face, and no one's been like, hey, this is what they're doing. I'm sure that there has been people saying this is what they're doing, but it wasn't me. Maybe it was you.
Okay, so with that being said...
With what being said, how hyped we are?
Yeah, with that being said...
I'm really excited, man.
I'm like, how do we get bigger? Because I'm like, is that the climax of the show? Definitely not.
No, it's episode 5. There's 4 more.
There's 4 more, and it's like, it is...
Like, how do you trump that? Like, do you, asking my fan theory is, do you have Magneto come in at some point? Do you, whoa.
The way I think the series is going to end is going to be with Benedict Cumberbatch coming in and with Wong and being like, Wanda, you need to stop. A la House of M. Because there's those moments with her twins where, like, she was trying... Because when it was Saturday, and Vision was at work... And she was like trying to comfort her twins and be like, "Oh no, Dad's just at work. It's not Saturday. It's Monday."
It's Monday, and they're like, "No, Mom, you're dumb."
Yeah, like, "No, Mom, like that's not true." And she's like, "Oh, it's okay because la la." And Doctor Strange, remember, he had to come into the room with her, like, because everyone's fighting during House of M, and he comes into her like tower, and I think it's gonna be something like that where she's like gonna lose her mind, and I think I can guarantee you. Their aging is going to stop at 16 because they are going to be... Because now we have Cassie Lang, we have... what's his face? Oh my gosh, we have Cassie Lang.
I'll help you out. Which one? Who?
We have Kate Bishop now.
Yeah.
And then we have 2... so Speed and Wiccan, which are Wanda's twins. We have 4 of the founding members of the Young Avengers.
Somebody else pointed... Oh, my God, I didn't know that. So somebody else pointed out to me, though, that the clothes that they're wearing in the show is the color of their uniforms.
That's the color schemes, yes.
So that's awesome. I did not know that those 4 are members already of the Young
They're the founding members of the Young Avengers.
So the whole team would be Speed... What's the name?
Speed,
Wiccan, Kate Bishop,
Hawkeye.
Yep.
And then Cassie Lang Stature. Is Scott Lang's daughter.
Yeah, but does she like Ant-Man?
She gets her own costume.
She gets big?
She can grow, yeah.
Okay. Who else? That's 4. Is there more?
It's 4. There's Hulkling, who's a Skrull. So I think that could be something in Secret Invasion, the series that's been announced. Sure. And then I think there's one more. But then there's others that they could throw in there too, like America Chavez, or there was a kid Iron Man who turns out to be a young Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror has been slated to be in Ant-Man already, so there's room for all this, and so I think one of my other main things, they're going to stop growing at 16, like, because you're seeing them age up and they're going to stop. But no matter what's going to happen in this universe, they will still exist.
I'm so excited.
It is.
They're doing such a good job.
And also just coming off a dry spell for Marvel that we have not had any content
For
from
a
them
year.
And like originally slated was supposed to be Falcon Winter Soldier, which after seeing those trailers, it's going to be a bread and butter Marvel show that we love. Like we love it, but it's crazy to see we're getting this actual earth-bending series now from these people. And so I'm just so excited. And like literally barely not even 2 months away, we're going to have Falcon Winter Soldier.
I know. I can't be more clear. That episode 5, just changed the entire cinematic universe. It just changed the entire thing.
The entire cinematic multiverse. That is, everything has changed.
Bingo. You said it, dude.
Alrighty, guys. Well, stay tuned for, I think the March 10th is when our episode is going to come out on our WandaVision review. We are so excited. Shortly after that, Jesse's probably going to take over the entire month of March. So you will hear, we have a big March ahead of us. We're going to be doing WandaVision review. Jesse's going to read the first hardcover of Invincible. We're going to go into Winter Soldier and Sam Wilson Cap runs before we get into Falcon Winter Soldier. So we have a lot more content coming based on this universe. We just needed to talk about this right now.
Earth-shattering.
All right. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for being on a super special annual episode of Cameron Reads Comics. We love you. Mean it.
Hey, man. Love you too. Sorry about all the construction noise.
It's okay.
Hey.
See you next time.
Later.